Shit.
Coming on our show now to hang out with us pieces of shit is Nathan Baesel, the star of Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Here he comes.
Look, you came to me to find out how guys like Mike and Chucky and Freddie do what they do, not why. I can't just sit here on the first night I ever met you and explain it to you. It's got to come from your own understanding of the process. Or not. It's up to you.
Hey, man.
Great, dude. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us tonight.
You're welcome.
Love the beard, man. The beard looks good.
It's not by choice. COVID did this to me. I think we're all dealing with, the effects of COVID in their own way. This is what happened to me.
Hey, it works for you, man. My 20 pounds of extra Coors Light COVID is not doing the same thing for me.
Mine is Miller Lite, but
Hey.
I'm fortunate. I kind of depend on exercise. I have to run or I'll just lose my fucking mind. So that's the only thing that keeps the weight off.
I get it, man. I used to go to the gym like every single day just for the same reason, just to deal with just made me feel better mentally. And then when I was too scared to go to the gym, I was like, man, working out at home sucks. Yeah. It's not the same.
I used to drive by the gym and be like, oh man, I never went in though.
Even when I had gym memberships, I rarely used them. So it always felt like I was paying somebody for the privilege of losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, totally. but with running, I don't need a machine. I don't need a membership. I can just hit the street.
There you go.
Well, you live down there in California, right? Where it's the weather's a lot more seasonable. You go outside and run here, man. Your nipples will never recover. They will just freeze right off. At? We're in Kentucky.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I lived on the East Coast in New York for a little over 4 years, and I just never got used to that. I just never did. Yeah. On days where it felt like it was warming up, and like the whole world was waking up and birds were chirping and people are like acknowledging each other on the street, like hey, isn't it a beautiful day, man? Total strangers. It just felt like we can have this throughout the whole year in Southern California.
Yeah.
That's why I've never even been to Cali, but that's why I've always wanted to go there, man. I just want to see what that's like to be there in the middle of the winter and have it be 60, 70 degrees outside and nice. I have noticed though that in Wisconsin, I've been there a couple times, and when the sun comes out for that 2 weeks that it comes out in Wisconsin, it's a really fun place to be because everybody's so used to being cold and fucking miserable that when the sun comes out, everybody just goes out and drinks. I mean, they're just out partying their asses off. You could be at a Walmart, people are just hanging outside doing shots. It's wild.
Well, in New York, we were doing that in the off season too, because it was just the order of the day. Just drink that. Just drink.
Just drink. I love the Miller Lite plug, man. We always ask people when they come on the show, like, "Hey, do you drink?" Because
I'm a Miller Lite and Jim Beam guy. I mean, I'll drink the other stuff too. I'll pay, top shelf prices very reluctantly, but if left to my own devices, I'm a Miller Lite Jim Beam guy. Yeah.
I love it, man. Yeah, I've got my makers. Jay is a Michelob Ultra guy. That's the only thing he'll drink. We have a running thing on the show where
I love it.
We just have Jay try any beer other than Michelob Ultra, and he seizes up and almost dies.
Yeah, well, the taste buds rebel instantly, and they're like, "Nah, fuck it, I can't do it. I can't do it." I try, but I'm also an outsider in Kentucky because you pull up at the Tractor Supply. It's where they all hang out in their trucks, and you pull up with this the Michelob Ultra, and they're all drinking Natural Light. You better make sure that your shit's covered because they don't like that at all.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I started drinking Jim Beam. Well, that wasn't that was the reason I started drinking Jim Beam because, bringing beer to a house party, just you're lucky if you get two of them, before they're gone. So I realized I got to have something that nobody else is going to touch. I got to have something that is sip free, nobody's going to bother me for a sip of this. First it was malt liquor, but that takes its toll on you. You feel it the next day. Jim, if you manage yourself all right, you can get by with just a pint.
Will you do
There you
that
go.
now? Will you do it on the rocks? Are you a straight gym guy, or do you mix it with the Coke?
You know, the back pocket of a party, you know, I'll do it straight, but yeah, preference is over ice.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point at this point in quarantine where I will just drink it straight and just walk around the house in my underwear drinking straight bourbon, and it's fine.
And you know, with Makers, you can do that too. You want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, Makers is a good whiskey for that.
Yeah, I enjoy it, man. It's a good mixer too. I found some do not mix well. Like we got Woodford down here, which is a big one, and I've mixed it a couple times. And I'm like, I'm just wasting good whiskey doing this, but.
Yeah.
But with the Makers, it works. But anyways, I mean,
it's nice to have an alcohol that's so good that you want to sip it. You don't want to mix it with anything. You just want to drink the thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I had an appreciation for tequila for the first time, because I thought I'd burned out on high school parties. But real good tequila is.
Oh man, you say high school right away. Like tequila, man, in high school. Jose Cuervo, that was. Oh
Dude,
man,
I can't even be around that smell.
Yeah, I can't smell it. Yeah.
Tequila. Tequila and
so
Jaeger,
bad.
dude. Tequila and
So
Jaeger.
bad.
When you get bad enough of a hangover on those two, it's a dark night for sure.
Yeah,
Oh man.
So you've drank tequila straight, like on the rocks, like that's something you can do. I can't imagine. I've seen people do it. I'm like,
if it's a good quality tequila, oh yeah. I not even on the rocks. I'd prefer it straight. Yeah.
So that's like is there one below Patron, or is Patron like the kind of I don't know much about tequila, so
Patron's good. Yeah.
I'll have to try that maybe. Maybe I need a new alcohol in my life. It's not like I don't have enough of it, so
yeah, that'd be a good one to add.
I feel like we're a YouTube show that's getting ready to start drunk history.
What is this show all about?
Yeah, we're gearing it up.
We've done it. Hey,
just get a bunch of drunks together and
Let's just do it. Let's talk about it.
Hey, yeah, it was nice to have you on, Nathan. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
We got what we needed. No.
Anytime you need a drunk chat.
On that note, getting into the other stuff, man. So I actually hesitate to ask you this because I know it's something that you get asked all the time, but I just figure we'll get it out of the way. As far as Behind the Mask, there is, and it's listed on IMDb as announced, you know, the Before the Mask, the prequel sequel that's supposed to come out that I know everybody's been asking you about, but I know what happened.
Not really on IMDb. It's listed on IMDb.
Yeah, it just says announced on there. It still says announced, but
I missed the announcement.
I guess it was from back in the day. But I know that you guys you went for the crowdfunding thing, and we're hopeful it was going to happen, and it didn't end up happening. And then they turned it into a comic book series. But I just wanted to ask, like, with everything going on now, where it seems like there's so many projects being crowdfunded, and there's so much stuff like that that's actually able to be successful, especially lately. Has there been any movement on that whatsoever?
No, but not for lack of interest, and I think that's on everybody's part. And just as a creative exercise, you know, and it may be that's all it ever is a creative exercise. During COVID, I wanted to get some writing done, and I wrote some material for, you know, whatever. An iteration of Behind the Mask that you know, we could get going on a kind of serial basis, but one that's just a lot less labor intensive than doing a full production, you know. And that interested me as a way to go, because you know, finding something that can that you can run and gun and just do it on a really lean, you know, with lean resources. You know, people are proving all the time that you can get a lot of really good stuff done with very little, and there's no reason why, you know, we couldn't be. Where I know that a lot of people, you know, from Behind the Mask would love to take on a project, especially if we were looking at a really tight shoot window. And yeah, so if it develops any further, you know, yeah, maybe we'll have some news down the road, but yeah, in the meantime, the interest is there, and that's always flattering.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome to hear. Did you do any of the writing with the guys when they wrote the original one, or
no? It was all done and set in stone, and there was no need to. Although David Stevie, the writer, he came on set, and I don't think we did any real changes, but he you know, piped in and threw in his 2 cents, and You know, it was great to, you know, have the voice of the script, you know, make contributions in real time to the work that we were doing. That was cool. But yeah, no, it was a really solid script. I mean, one of the first that I ever read that just felt like mathematically this fucking works. Everything works.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I was going to ask you actually, was like what like attracted you like right away to the script as you were reading it? Was there like a specific thing, like a hook that was like, oh man, I gotta do this
well,
right away?
probably the fact that it was breaking down horror movies into conventions,
Mhm.
and that was something that interested me on an intellectual basis, but it also interested me in the sense that I'm scared of scary movies. Like,
Hey man, I am too.
I steered away from horror movies, not really intentionally, but just because, like, if I was given my druthers on a Saturday night, like, I don't want to scare myself. Like, why would I want to do that to myself? You know?
I get you, man. 100%. Yeah.
It didn't compute, but you know, but I've always had an interest in the genre, and to the extent that I was able to dip my toe, you know, fully into the water. You know, I watched The Exorcist; it fucking freaked me out. I watched Shining; it freaked me out.
Yeah.
You know, so I have an appreciation for the genre, but I just didn't really have a whole lot of awareness of it, and the script helped me to, you know, have a way in, and a way in that I've applied to pretty much every horror movie that I've watched since reading that script.
There you go.
I was going to actually ask you about that too, man, because that movie, it works on so many levels. Like you almost, I almost, I think it's entertaining for anybody who watches it. I think anybody could turn on, not even a huge slasher fan that doesn't know about the tropes of slasher movies, could turn it on and watch it and be entertained, because you were super charismatic in it, man. You were hilarious. The off the wall stuff, the whole movie was great. It was amazing. But I do think that there's another level there with the deeper jokes that you guys did with like how serial killers trained, or slashers trained, because they have to look like they're, you know, they have to look like they're walking with the cardio and like the cryogenic chamber. I don't know if it's cryogenic chamber, whatever it's called. But all that stuff like that, I wondered, like, was there any of that stuff that when you first read it, not being a horror fan, that you like didn't get the joke at first?
Well, like the closet thing, I think I probably had seen one movie up to that point that incorporated the kind of closet thing, because I hadn't seen I hadn't seen a lot of the movies that our movie referenced, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So but I did have a little bit of familiarity from, you know, one, maybe two movies where there was like a kind of closet thing, and you know, the person going in the closet to hide, and then, you know, the menace standing outside and like shifting around and then kind of turning and walking away, and that just always baffled me. You know, it just always confused me why that happened. You know, it was just, but the script kind of enlightened me in that, illuminated that for me, and yeah, it gave me a way in to appreciate that that little beat that happens in a lot of movies that I've seen since.
That's awesome, man. We have we have some questions from the chat, if you don't mind answering those as well.
Yeah, cool.
Hardy Nugget 96. Hardy Nugget.
Hardy Nugget. What's up, Hardy?
That's one of them good ones. You open up
That's
your,
one of them old nuggets.
yeah, you open up your McDonald's 10-pack and you're like, hey, I got some value out of that one. Is this, hey, Wham fam, hope y'all are doing well. And Nathan, I hope you're doing well too, man. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan and thank you for bringing another icon to the screen. So not really a question, but just a thank you.
Thank you, Hardy. Nugget. Mr. Nugget. Or Lady Nugget.
Boneless.
Yeah.
Is it a nugget or is it a boneless wing? At this point, I don't know. It's so hardy.
Yeah.
Scream Queen says, love Scott Wilson. Can you share what it was like working with such a veteran actor?
Such a veteran actor.
And Scott Wilson.
With Scott Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Wilson? Oh man, well, it was easy. It was just easy. You know, with him, you know, what you see is what you get. You know, he was just such a genuine and giving guy. So yeah, it wasn't really work working with him. You know, the roles that we had, him as mentor, me as mentee. You know, it kind of required that I just sit there and listen and be in awe of him. And that was pretty easy to do.
Right, yeah.
I bet, man. I saw one of your interviews too, where you were talking about working with Robert Englund, and you said that I think it was the van scene, when you're talking to her next to the van, and you said that Robert Englund was sticking around to watch, and then he came up to you afterward and was just like, "Hey, man, you're doing it right."
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was sticking around to kind of see what he'd gotten himself into, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't, and especially in you know, he was like Scott Wilson, like Zelda. They're brought in for a really concentrated amount of time. In Scott's case, it was a few days, but and then Robert's too. Yeah, it was a few days with him, but it's a really quick kind of in and out thing, you know, and I think they're saying yes to participate in the project purely off of, you know, just crossing fingers that, you know, the script, obviously they've read the script, but, you know, just crossing fingers that, you know, these people have their act together. Especially in our case, you know, we were novices, you know, this was the first time director, and I'd never done a film before, you know, so you just don't know what you're getting into, you know. I think he was pleasantly surprised after watching.
Did you know,
us shoot that scene,
because you said that you didn't really watch a lot of the horror movie stuff, or, you know, occasionally watch them. Did you know Robert Englund as the iconic Fred Krueger? I mean, did you know?
Yeah, I had seen the Nightmare on Elm Street. I had seen 1 and 2 of Nightmare on Elm Street. I went on vacation once with my family up to Washington to my uncle's house, and my uncle owned a video store, and so basically all we did that week that we were there was grab movies off the shelf. So I watched everything, and you know, I think we knocked out 1 and 2 on that trip.
That's crazy.
And so that those definitely stuck with me, and, you know, yeah, getting a thumbs up from him, you know, definitely meant something.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That was the experience of watching it too, man, though. It really was. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I remember it was just one of those random DVD buys. You know, me and my girlfriend at the time would just go buy random, you know, horror movie DVDs, and we just popped it in, and instantly, you know, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're nice enough to do the show, but like instantly when you started on screen and you had that charisma and you had, you know, that energy to you, I was like, that guy's fucking got it. You know, like that meme of you know, Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it's like this. That was me. I was like, that guy's fucking got it, man. That guy's good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
your shit was on point for sure, man. You really, like, I might mention charismatic on screen. Was there anything like I mean, pretty much stick to the script, or did they allow any kind of ad lib at all, like, you know, making up your own lines, and it was kept in the movie?
The Paradise Lost thing seemed really like an ad lib, like a perfect one.
I was not in the script.
Nice. I fucking knew it, dude. I knew it.
Go, man. Yeah, well, that was it was premeditated, though. It wasn't improvised, because we'd been at a party. I don't know, I think it was one of the cast. Oh yeah, it was Ben and Britton, and they were throwing a party in their extended stay suite, and somebody said Paradise Lost found it, and it just cracked me up, and we were all laughing at it. I remember, but nobody can remember who said it. Nobody can remember how it came up. But in any case, it just stuck with me. And our last production shoot was at the downtown library in Portland, and I was like, library. If I can't, you know, insert a Paradise Lost found it reference in this scene somewhere, then, you know, shame on me.
So did you actually have to place the book behind you in that scene to get that to work?
Yeah. We had to find it first, you know, run through the stacks and then place it. And where we were shooting, I think, was like the economy section or something like that. Yeah. If you look at the books, the binders of the books behind me, they're all like, I don't know, statistical analysis or something like that. You know, this is the subject.
So I guess the director
but
was
here's
pretty...
Paradise Lost.
So the director was pretty cool on that. I know that there are some directors, like Mike mentioned, a Quentin Tarantino film. Quentin Tarantino is pretty notorious about like with the ad libbing or just adding on anything, or they're like, no, stick to the fuck. So he was pretty cool, I guess, with allowing it and just being like, oh man, that's awesome. We're gonna add it in, like for sure.
Well, I mean, I understand why Quentin Tarantino would be specific, very specific about what he, what he writes and how he wants what he writes represented, and frankly, we didn't need to deviate from the script. There was already a real kind of live feel embedded in the script, so we didn't have to improvise really at all, and stray from the script, because the script was already, we just needed to deliver it. It was already great. We just had to do a good job delivering it.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the park, man, for sure. That's no doubt.
Absolutely, man. I was going to ask you as well in that vein. So I don't know if you saw it or not, because I don't know how much you follow, the slasher stuff that's going on currently. But I mean, that's one of the reasons I thought that maybe, if anything, could revive the idea of doing, another Leslie Vernon film, with Halloween 2018 coming out, which is a big thing around here. And, the slash.
Not in Kentucky, but everywhere.
Yeah, just on this channel. Yeah. But with all the, it seems like horror is just, I don't know if it's the internet or social media or what, but we found that there is just a goddamn huge amount of horror fans out there, and they are thirsty for any horror content, especially in the slasher verses. But they did a fan film for Jason called Never Hike in the Snow. And in this fan film, they actually, at the end of it, it's been out for a while, so it's not totally a spoiler, they brought back a main character from the 6th Jason movie, and Tom Matthews is a surprise character at the end of it. And they're doing some crazy stuff with that, and it doesn't look like a fan film. I mean, it looks like a film that you can't, the naked eye, you just can't look at it and see something that wouldn't be just as good on screen. And they're bringing back major characters for stuff like this. And if someone came to you with that idea and they were like, hey, I'm making a fan film, it's actually got a real budget, we Indiegogo'd it, we crowdfunded it, would you be willing to play, and the script was right?
And probably not. Just because I don't own Leslie Vernon. He's not my intellectual property. So it would be, a little bit of a heft to lend, Leslie Vernon in name to any project. But if I've learned one thing from the horror community, it's that there's some incredibly talented people out there, and there's no lack of cleverness and creativity in that community. So I guess never say never, but it would be a real trick.
Hey man, I was going to ask you, so you did a lot of like stage plays and things like that, right? I mean, you're more used to that. So you were saying Leslie Vernon was your first actual film. You prefer the stage, or did you prefer like doing the acting in front of a camera? Which one would you prefer?
It totally depends on the project.
Yeah. Could you imagine Leslie Vernon being on stage?
We talked about it.
He's grandiose enough. I could see that shit. Yeah.
We talked about it. It'd make a great musical.
I could actually see that. Yeah.
The run walk scene would be beautiful. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I would love that. That would be awesome.
That would be my favorite number. Belting that into the rafters.
Oh man.
I'm bringing home the Tony already. I'm already.
There you go.
I think that's the thing that pisses me off the most about it, is that, when that movie came out and it got such a cult following, I feel like if that had come out today in the height of all this horror stuff, and it was like, I guess if Behind the Mask came out today, then it was like pretty much, I think most people probably found it on DVD, and they saw the cover of it and they looked at it and they decided to rent it maybe, and then it got word of mouth, and that's how cult classics happened back then, which that movie's become. If it came out today, I'd imagine it would probably be a digital video release, and then I just feel like with and film festivals and whatever, and however else they release all that stuff, I feel like if it came out today, it would have got a lot more notoriety than it did then. And that pisses me off just as a fan of the movie, like thinking, man, shit, then it wouldn't have been a problem doing a sequel, doing whatever the hell you guys wanted to do with it. But I don't even know exactly where I was going with that. I was just making my own statement.
but the problem that we had then is the problem that we would have now, which is that you can't explain this movie to anybody. You certainly can't wrap it up in a one sentence summary, you know, not in any way that's going to really, you know, convey the appeal of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, well, how do you market that? You know,
you'd have to lie. I mean, you'd have to tell people that you're going to see a really scary slasher film, and then you're going to have to deal with people being pissed off because it was a smart comedy slasher film.
But I think that's what has worked for us and has worked to continue the momentum of the movie, is that most of how people who really appreciate the movie come across it is unassumingly.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's been recommended to them by somebody, but you know, I feel like the people who are, you know, kind of most appreciative of the movie are the ones who just kind of like you know, just they came across it in a rental, you know, they were, you know, scanning for something to watch on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Now it's streaming, you know, and they find something that they just really didn't know what to expect, and it, you know, took them in a bunch of different directions, and they had a really fun time.
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right. I mean, as far as saying like hard to like wrap it up and explain it to somebody like what it is. I mean, especially someone that's not into horror movies at all, and they're like, "Well, this is a great film because it's a dark comedy, but it's also a horror film at the same time." And really to explain what it honestly is would be a hard task for anybody. But I mean, man, you guys hit so many different genres in that film. It was amazing. It was really awesome to watch, and I think anybody, even outside the horror community, would enjoy it. Like that's what's so unique about it, though. But it really is an amazing flick for real.
Yeah,
yeah, I think it operates on a few different levels, or kind of, you know, lives on a couple different levels, and I think that's what helps it hold up to multiple viewings. And you know, those kinds of movies are always special. I love those movies that you can go back to and you can watch it again and again and again and again. You know, if it's on TV at any point in the movie, I'll start watching it and I'll watch it to the end. You know.
Yep.
Awesome.
Those movies are great, and they're pretty rare. You know, but when you find them, it's special.
100%.
Absolutely, man. Some other questions from the chat. Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury, which is pretty great goddamn name. I don't know when the last time you had a Salisbury steak was, but it's been a long time for me. I need to get on that.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
The TV dinners is the last time.
Hungry Man dinner.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hungry
Yes,
Man.
dude.
That was yesterday's.
Hey, did you ever have the ones that were like the beer battered fish covered in like nacho cheese? Did you ever have those Hungry Mans?
Damn, dude.
That was
dark.
a special kind of fat, dude. Yeah, a lot of cardio after that one.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'll stop up the old carteries. Carteries.
The arteries.
He says, he says, I love Behind the Mask, especially the scenes with Scott Wilson. Did he give you any acting advice that stuck with you?
Well, he was just a great collaborator when we were working on the film, but the advice that I really appreciate, and why I appreciate him, why he's just really special to me and always will be, is because he was always so open and willing to nurture our friendship after the film. And I hit a rough patch, and I reached out to him for advice, and he was there for me. And he was always there for me. I mean, he was always, he was always extending the open invitation to visit. And I do kick myself about not taking advantage of that nearly as much as I should have.
Yeah, I've heard you mention several times the kind of mentor relationship you guys had, and that's just really fucking cool, man. That's just, you know, that's an awesome thing. Devin Davis asks, "Hey guys, I live in NYC and am currently working on my thesis in film school. Behind the Mask was genuinely a unique film with solid execution all around, really inspiring work. Do you have a favorite memory from the set?"
That's general. A favorite memory from the whole thing, just from the whole.
Call them keepers.
My favorite memory from the whole experience.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You got to decide. Welcome to
can't.
Fear Factor, Nathan Baesel.
There's too many. Too many. I spent one day off. I didn't have too many days off because I was in a lot of it. And but when I did have a day off, I just really enjoyed it. Went to downtown one afternoon and ate some mushrooms and walked around the museum and then smoked some pot and went to Team America World Police.
Holy shit, that had to be fucking incredible.
It blew my mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say that had to be incredible. Oh my god.
I was in such pain. I thought I was in trouble at a couple points, that I'd done damage to myself. It was a really unpleasant experience at certain points.
Oh man.
You talking about in the theater while you were watching the movie specifically?
I was so loud too. I'm sure. And I was just.
Yeah, that's when you know you've had, like, when you've hit the pot and then you've done the mushroom, you're like, I might have fucked something up here. Like there's some wires crossing up. Like I'm watching Team America World Police. Oh my god, yeah, I can only imagine.
It was way too much.
Yeah.
In all the right ways.
I couldn't imagine, dude. I've done mushrooms twice in my life, and I could not imagine being in public for either of those. I just Jesus, God bless anyone who could do that. But yeah, I'd have been in jail, dude. I'd have been in jail, no doubt about it. That's fucking hilarious, though. That was the best.
Don't really do that for me. I've had a few times with mushrooms, but yeah, they don't really kick me in the head like they do some people. But I don't know. Everybody always tells me it's dosage, but I feel like sometimes I'm just stuffing them in by the handful and still don't. Yeah.
You know, it didn't seem like you had an answer to that question, and then you just fucking came out of left field with maybe the best answer to a question that I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Right.
What was the best?
I really reached deep for that one because that was tough.
That sounds like a good goddamn time. Oh man, yeah. The first time I did them, I just laying in my girlfriend's bed on like the second level of a house, and I saw a stop sign like 2 miles away, and all of a sudden the first time it kicked in, my vision just zoomed in. I was like, I could see every speck of dust on this stop sign right now. And then I look over and there's a Jim Morrison poster on her wall, and like, you know the classic one where he's like, just like with the shirt off and he's sitting there, and then all of a sudden he got like the thorns and turned into Jesus and was like looking. This is just Jesus staring at me from this bed that doesn't even have like a bed rack. It's just on the floor, and I was just like, man, this is fucking awesome. I'm having a great
Sounds like
time.
you on the Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I would be like, no. No, Jesus.
I felt euphoric, so it was okay.
It's too freaky. Yeah.
I was like, you're not Jesus, dude. You're Jim Morrison.
Okay. So you knew he wasn't Jesus.
Yeah.
He was just there to.
Exactly.
Okay.
I had a good time both times, but they were just both such crazy times that I couldn't imagine being anywhere in public. I'd have shit my pants and like fucking done something stupid. I don't know. But Nightmare Kid asked, Nathan, did you get to keep the mask?
I did not keep anything. In fact, nobody did. Well, somebody did. We were thieved. We finished. We wrapped at the library, and I took all my gear off in the changing room and changed into my civilian clothes. And the director, Scott Glosserman, he comes up to me. I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes later or so, and he says, "Where'd you put the gear? The Leslie gear?" I put it in the changing room there. There's nothing in there. It's all gone.
Oh shit.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, so somebody grabbed all.
Oh shit! Yeah. They got the mask and everything.
And there were multiple masks too.
Oh shit! So did they have to go back and like make new masks for it? Like were the
no? That was the last we wrapped. It was all done.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So somewhere there's a thief
sucks.
out there right now with the final copy of that fucking mask.
Well, did you want it? I mean, did you want like a mask to take home with you? Like,
it would have been cool,
Yeah. But you got fucking robbed. Somebody stole it.
We got robbed
Well,
by
it
a
wasn't
serial
mine.
killer.
It wouldn't have been.
I know, but it's like shit,
Well,
man. I
I'm
mean,
taking all this shit with me. Maybe I should have. I should have just taken everything and just shoved it in a bag and then run.
Hey, worst case
like a
scenario.
black garbage bag.
Hey, we need to start cruising eBay and see who sold a really lifelike, Leslie Vernon mask. We could find that fucker because they're not just gonna keep it.
Yeah, I I would think so. I think just hang on to that shit.
Yeah.
Wear it on
I was gonna say
Halloween.
they might keep it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't respect it enough not to fucking steal it, then they probably don't need it for a souvenir. You know what I
Or
mean?
maybe they stole it because they have so much respect.
Maybe that was it.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That could be it. That could be it. I like your
That's
version
why
better.
I steal. That's why I used to steal candy bars. I respected them so much.
I still keep them in my bunk at night. I just pull them out and I look at them. This is Zagnut's special to me. Marco Vivator says, Nathan, how or what did you have to do to bring that character to life and bring him that type of personality?
Personality was all mine. I was just having a good time. You know, Leslie's, you know, a guy who's on the verge of just like, you know, the precipice of just launching his name into the pantheon of, you know, greats. And that's pretty much where I felt that I was in my career. And you know, so I was just being me. You know, he loves what he does, and he doesn't apologize for it. He you know, he just thinks that maybe it's a little misunderstood, and getting some clarity on things would probably benefit you know, probably benefit the profession. And yeah, so here's a documentary crew to follow me around while I'm just about to become famous.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. When I first watched it, I thought the whole thing with the character, like he was gonna turn out to be like not necessarily like into, like he wasn't gonna really do it. Like the actual Leslie Vernon was gonna show up, or something like that, like a ghost or some shit like that. Like he wasn't really gonna go through with the whole thing. And then when it kicks into high gear in the second half, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's actually gonna do it. Like I felt like the camera crew, like, because I mean, I felt like the camera crew was following you around, like, nah, man, this guy's kind of out there, but he's not really gonna do it. But then when you do it, I'm like, holy shit, like that's why it's so unique, and I love it, man. It's just so crazy, like how great of a character that is, Leslie Vernon.
Well, I think yeah, there are some people that see the turn that it takes a mile away, and they just you know, they you know, don't really, I don't know, they just appreciate other aspects of the movie, but you know, maybe they're just kind of a little cynical, or a little like me. You know, I'm always, you know, 3 beats ahead, it feels like, from wherever I'm at in a movie. I'm already thinking ahead. The really special movies for me are the ones where I'm not really thinking ahead. I'm just really captured and in the moment, you know. But a lot of times I just kind of, I'm already anticipating, you know, the next moment, and so I do tend to see things before they come down the pike, and I tend to be, you know, really unimpressed by the fact that I wasn't surprised at all. Some people are really surprised by that turn that it takes behind the mask, and I always appreciate that, because I feel like I'm too cynical to be that kind of person who can. But you know, sometimes movies are like that.
I was like it took me for a surprise, man. Like it fooled me for sure. Like I was happy about that. That was awesome.
I was pleasantly surprised, because I thought you were so likable just as a guy, and like these people are following you around. You know, I think that was when they were writing that, it had to be something like, oh man, we want the audience to like these people, but if they stand by and they watch him just slaughter people, and then they just keep filming, then they become unlikable. So that position had to be hard when they were writing that. But when you go in the room and you kill the people who are having sex, and you come back out, and then they all of a sudden get revolted by it, I felt like I was happy, because I was like, I thought when watching it the first time, I was like, they're going to back out of this at some point. He's not actually going to go all the way with it. But I thought it was a ballsy move to just say, no, he's fucking killing people in here. This is happening. You know?
Well, I think they built themselves good ground to stand on. I guess I'm tooting my own horn. When they cast me, I think my take was different from a lot of people who were seeing the character as a, you know, kind of just real menacing, you know, he's evil, so you know, you just be evil. You know, there was a lot of shouting on the other side of the wall in the casting room. You know, I could hear when other people were auditioning, there was just a lot of, you know, that kind of thing. And I just, I just felt like it's unnecessary. The guy does what he does. He doesn't, he can be really passionate about and love his profession. He doesn't have to be like a symbol of his profession. So just allowing the character to be likable opened up, in my opinion, an opportunity for the audience to get engaged in a way that they wouldn't have had they gone with probably the more commercial choice by casting somebody who's just like really big and burly and kind of intense and that whole thing. You don't get, if you don't get that likable quality, then you don't give the audience a chance to really bond and really care when all that shit starts happening.
100%.
That's nuts to me, dude. So like, and one of the questions I was going to ask you was like I'm always interested when people end up doing stuff like this. Like, okay, what was the first time like you heard the words Leslie Vernon? Like, how did it all actually start? How did you end up getting this role? But the thought of you sitting in an audition room and you didn't know that the character was supposed to be likable at all, and thinking of the movie, had they had someone go in and been like trying to be like, I'm Leslie Vernon, like while they're on screen before the killings, the thought that it wasn't obvious on the page that you were supposed to be charismatic and likable that's fucking astounding to me, dude. I think that's definitely clearly why you got the role. I mean, that's genius, that's really fucking cool.
Man.
I
think that's just it's kind of my it's kind of my nature to. I think a lot of times in acting class too, I would be the guy who would see how other people were doing the scene, and then I would just make the choice that's completely opposite because I didn't want to do what those guys were doing. You know what I mean? That might have been the entire take that I had on the character, was just like, well, I'm not gonna be like that fucking guy.
That movie would have been terrible if you had just like a serious, like, I'm a serial killer and I'm always a serial killer, and then they ended up being a serial killer. I
think that naturally happens when people feel like, when actors feel like they don't have they don't believe in what they're selling. They're not buying their own product. They're not buying that they're, and in my case, in Leslie Vernon's case, they don't buy that they're a serial killer. They don't buy that they're somebody who's dangerous. They don't buy any of that stuff. And so they feel like they have to kind of project what quality they feel like the audience should be getting from them,
right.
Which is like, anger and meanness and threats, that's
I was gonna say, like almost like if they read the script, they feel like they have to overcompensate. Right. They read it and they're like, oh, it's a serial killer, so that means I'm a mean, burly, evil force.
But the thing with Leslie, and maybe this is in the script, and maybe you would get this if you were really keying into the character on the script, is Leslie doesn't apologize for fucking shit.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and you're either on board or you're not. If you're not, then I could give a shit. If you are, I'll lay down the rules, and so there's nothing to be this over. I mean, there are moments where there's an opportunity to see what Leslie's like with the mask on when he's not wearing it, but for the most part, the mask is off, and he doesn't need to be that guy because it's not time.
I just find it super fucking interesting that like that didn't read off the page. That
I would imagine that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like they weren't like, hey, they didn't tell you, hey, you're a likable guy, you're a really lovable dude, you're full of energy, like none of that stuff. Like if and me being a non-actor, you know, would have read that and I would have gone in there and I would have done the exact fucking thing those other dudes did. I'd be like, I'm a serial killing son of
I'm
a
a
bitch.
monster.
I'm ready to fuck shit up. You know,
I'm gonna kill you and spill your entrails all over.
yeah.
Why I oughta
Dude, when you did
to
when
the moon.
we will go to Houston and we will rule. But when you did your audition for it, were they shocked as shit that you were being likable, or like were they like that's what the fuck we're talking about, or were they like holy shit I didn't even see it that way?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was completely outside of their, you know, they hadn't thought of anything in that the way that I took it, but there was a great back and forth in the room, and that was with me and Angela, who I was auditioning with. It was with me and David Stevie was there, and Scott Glosserman, and Ben Pace was there too, I believe. And there was just a really good, easy rapport, you know, really right off the bat. And I think that probably helped more than anything suggest to them that this might be a good way to go, is because we just synced, you know?
Yeah, I get it. The chemistry. Yeah, the good chemistry.
That's just the wildest thing, man. That's the wildest thing to me. That
And you had to be nervous, like you had to be like sweating balls. Like, I mean, it's your first.
I hate auditioning.
Yeah,
I'm the worst auditioner.
You'd have to be
terrible.
a sadist to like that
I was
shit.
gonna be like, shit, man. I couldn't even only imagine sitting like in the room waiting to go in and just hearing that from the other side and be like, oh shit.
Even thinking about sitting in a waiting room gets my pressure up.
Yeah,
Oh
dude,
Jesus, couldn't imagine. Hey, I did notice on your IMDb they got you listed for a movie called Crossbow Creek, and the idea of it, the synopsis sounded pretty cool to me. Is that something that maybe got halted by COVID, or is that something are you going to get behind the camera again in 2021?
It got impacted by it, but I think it's probably still going forward. My buddy Andy, he we've worked together on another film, and he was raising the money to do a trailer for it, and so we shot some stuff for it, and he put that together, and I think he's got a package now that he's you know, working on getting funding with. But yeah, it's he's another guy who writes scripts that are just solid. You know, they just work. The mathematics of the script work. You know, it feels very, you know, 2 + 2 = 4. You know, well, I get this. This is all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just check the box.
Hey man, I was going to ask you real quick. Do you like being in front of the camera, or do you like enjoy being off the camera, like behind the scenes? Like, if you had to pick, which one is your like favorite to be?
Because, by the way, not a lot of people know this about you. You're super successful in the editorial department. You know, you've been doing Deadliest Catch and all that stuff like that. You managed to create a career in the editorial department, doing awesome stuff. So, that's
editorial. I don't know. I need to go on there and revise my IMDb, because it's editorial is not correct. I work in post production, but not editing. I do need to fix that. I just don't care enough. I got.
Sounds cool either way, though. You know.
Yeah, I've been working off camera for the last 10 years, but yeah, I do enjoy working on camera. I appreciate the technicality of it, and I do enjoy working in a technical way, but I also enjoy working in a kind of organic way, and theater acting tends to be a little, you know, closer to an organic sense of acting for me, and so I guess I always kind of steered in that direction. But I think yeah, with a project like Behind the Mask, it was just a fantastic exercise in acting, because I got to work not just in a kind of free space of documentary style, you know, acting, but also in a cinematic style, and was able to knock out both those exercises in a first project, which is rare to have that opportunity. Rarely do you get as much camera time as I got.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the project again, but
I get you.
Well, I think that I think Jay's question comes from a place of, which is exactly how I kind of feel. Like, I mean, if I was in a, a producing position somewhere, there's a shit ton of fucking roles where I'd be like, get this fucking guy in and have him audition for it, man. There's something in your performance in that movie that just like screams like you got something amazing with the acting, man. I mean, it really is impressive, and it's special and it stands
I think
out.
I'll be getting back out there too. I appreciate that. I haven't walked away from acting. I was doing teaching in the time that I've been working for my company, and that was really gratifying, teaching acting. But yeah, I do miss doing acting, and I think I'm going to be getting back to it soon.
Yeah,
man.
Well,
you should for sure. You're a great actor for sure, 100%.
We'd all love to see it, man. Chris Snyder asked, "Hey, Nathan, Mike, and Jay, question for all of you: how do you feel about a Behind the Mask and Hatchet crossover? I don't know if you've seen Hatchet. It's Adam Green.
I feel good about that.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool, man. I'm not gonna lie, that would be an interesting crossover for sure.
Adam already set the stage for it in Hatchet 2. He already mentioned Leslie Vernon, so it's easy crossover.
And just the fact that that, and Adam Green seems like the type of dude who would just be 100% down for
Adam
that shit.
has been a really fantastic cheerleader for us, and I've appreciated how enthusiastically he's supported our movie, because we were the first two films that were released theatrically by fucking blanking on Anchor Bay.
Anchor Bay, yeah.
I didn't realize. And I think Anchor Bay's doing Scream, right? Is that the same company that's doing the new Scream movie?
I don't know.
No, it's Spyglass. I'm thinking of Spyglass. Yeah.
Spyglass, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, they branched out from video and DVD distribution to theatrical distribution, and we were their first. Behind the Mask was their first theatrical release. We did not make money for them. I'm sure we were a disappointment, but Hatchet did well, and it's still doing well, so good for them.
How does that work, by the way? So this is a question I plan on asking you, but so you're an actor. I'm guessing you're looking for roles. You're looking for stuff to audition for. Like from the first time you heard the words Leslie Vernon, like how did you end up, being Nathan Baesel, and then ending up in this movie? Like, what was the first time you heard of it? How did you end up on the movie? Was it just you got a notice about the audition, you went and you got it, or
my agent got me the audition appointment and sent me the script, and yeah.
It makes fucking sense considering how you explained the audition process, because I guarantee 99.9% of motherfuckers, because I would have done it, would have went in there and been like, I'm a fucking badass serial killer, and I'm here to fuck you up.
Yeah, I was like, I saw this shit on Craigslist. You guys auditioning? I don't know.
Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but if I read that script too, I'd be like, okay, you're a serial killer, you're a slasher, you're Michael fucking Myers, and then it's genius stroke on your part. That's maybe my favorite part from this whole interview, is you explaining that you heard other people doing it that way, because I never would have pictured it any way other than the way you did it, and I would have figured that everybody else auditioning would have been trying to do it the way you did it. But to hear that you're the only one that, maybe the only one at least, that went in there and was just like, hey, I'm a likable dude, but I'm also a fucking serial killer is awesome.
I think it's probably I don't.
Sorry, that's not really a question. I was just like saying shit out loud as I did.
I went to a different place, but I think the dark side, and I think it's something that I don't have as much reluctance representing or showing to people, especially in my acting. So I think that's just it comes easier for me than some people maybe.
Yeah, well, it was fucking great, man. Evan Alpaul asked for Nathan, what's your favorite snack? It's an easy one, buddy. That's
Bananas.
But
There you go.
bananas. Are you just looking for the first food in your fucking kitchen right now?
Basically, yeah. I made. I've been making granola, homemade granola,
Oh yeah.
and I've been mixing yogurt with that and a little honey. I like that. I like that a
Hey
lot.
man, I know we're gonna let you go here soon. I was just gonna ask you, what do you prefer, like overall? Like, do you prefer being on the stage doing the acting, or like in front of a camera? I know there's differences, obviously, but what do you prefer if you had your choice? What would be your overall like pick? Would it be on stage in front of a big crowd, or would it be in front of a camera with a crew
Well, it
cast?
depends on the project again, because you know, like with Behind the Mask,
Yeah.
my character is on screen a whole bunch, so
Mhm.
I'm getting the hell of an acting workout, you know.
Right.
Uh, and the range that I get to do in that role, yeah, it's going to be fantastically, you know, rewarding. But like I said, those opportunities are few and far between, and you know, with theater, there's a lot more opportunity generally to mix and have the collaboration be really creative and stimulating and inspiring, you know. And then there's not necessarily the specific projects that I worked on, but the collaborations that I've had. There are theater groups that I've worked with that just where they're coming from and how they work is a dynamic that just really gets me interested and excited and inspired, and you know, yeah. So it's the project.
Yeah.
Scream Queen asks, as an actor, do you have a boundary or limit on what you will or won't do, taboo subjects, etc., or do you just want to be true to the part?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess some taboo subjects. I mean, I unless there was some kind of justification for it in the story, you know, there's lots of kinds of people that I wouldn't want to represent. A lot,
especially these days, right?
Yeah, but yeah, if the script is good and it feels like it's justified in the character, yeah, I like using the character as an opportunity to explore aspects of myself in a more nuanced way, and in a more deep kind of way, and that's what Behind the Mask certainly was an opportunity to just kind of do a deep dive on me.
Sutter Gillette asks if you don't mind answering. He says, how do you feel about the Halloween franchise? And if so, how do you feel about Halloween Kills? Are you excited about that? Did you see I was going to ask that myself. Did you see 2018 Halloween? How do you feel about that? It's a big thing here. I don't know if I said that.
I feel good about it. I feel really good about it. I didn't watch my first Halloween movie until last year.
No shit.
That's pretty cool though. Yeah. You got a lot of catching up to do, man, though. But I mean, did you like it?
I know this. So I saw the first Halloween movie last year, and I watched Halloween 4. I think Halloween 5.
Did you start with Halloween 4? Was that the first Halloween movie you saw?
No, the first Halloween.
Okay, good.
70.
All right, just needed to know that. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's important.
And then I saw a good chunk of Halloween 8. Which is interesting. Yeah. I'm really interested in how they got Jamie Lee Curtis back to do this, and from what I understand, they have done it in a way that kind of reconciles aspects that were kind of problematic story-wise with her character and how her character, you know, fit into the legend of Michael Myers.
It's all on point.
Just kind of resolved some issues, and and it sounds like they did it really well. They pulled it off a good, quality movie. So yeah, I'm interested in watching it. I hope this one coming out is very successful. I'm interested in watching that eventually.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to get to a point on a Saturday night where I feel like frightening myself.
I think that's great though,
saying.
man. I mean, I think honestly some of the best contributors to horror movies are people who do not enjoy horror movies. Like just don't enjoy living there. I think that's
love them. I love them. But they fucking push the button.
Hey,
Dude, 100%. I get it. No, yeah, I fucking love them too, but they scare the shit out of me. But you can't help but be attracted to them at the same time. It's the thing.
That dude right there, you go see a horror movie with him, he's fucking like the music picks up and he's doing this shit. He's doing this shit and he's like covering his nose and his eyes and his ears.
I'm checking out diapers and all sorts of shit.
He looks like the bad guy from Mad Max, just like fucking.
I watched the red carpet premiere of The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
Sitting next to Emily Rose.
Oh man.
And I screamed like a cheerleader at several points in the movie.
Yeah.
And was cringed up like a fetal thing on my chair.
Yeah, I do the 2 points. It's in the ears and it's over the eyes. Like I do the whole thing. I can't. I mean, it scares the shit out of me.
We have a whole show on here.
Loud in movie theaters. I scream so loud.
I scream and then I get mad because I'm like, oh shit, it got me. Damn. Like I should have expected that and I didn't. Like, I get what you, man. The Emily Rose, like the Exorcism of Emily Rose, like holy shit,
that was good shit in it.
That was scary. Like the barn scene.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All of the contortion stuff. I mean, that was all real.
I hate it.
Just she's so good like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some good stuff in that movie. Hey, Nathan, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Like just the fact that
awesome.
You took time out of your day. We really do appreciate that.
Nice talking to you guys.
Hey man,
and
you're great. Thank you.
And honestly, like I'm fascinated with. I didn't want to push you on it because obvious reasons, but I'm fascinated with whatever the hell you wrote over this quarantine break for Leslie Vernon.
It's good.
Yeah, I would love to go deeper into that. I don't want to push on it because, obviously we're on here with everybody and I'm sure there's stuff that you want to keep close to the chest, but I'm fascinated with that. I can't wait to see what comes to that. But I also want to say, man, you're a dude who's you stuck out to me the first time I saw this movie. That was one of those, like, if I was a GM and, this was football, I'd be like, get me that fucking guy to do anything. I told you that. I'm really fascinated with you, man. And I think that, your journey's pretty cool because not only were you great in this movie, and even though it because of, like you said, it's a hard movie to explain, and because it came out in the time it did or whatever, you have, whether it's the editorial department or whatever it is, you fashioned out yourself, a nice niche in what you're doing, and I think that's a pretty cool thing, and I really look forward to see what you do in the future, man. And if you're interested in being in front of the camera, I would fucking place bets on you, buddy. I really would. I think you're a great
awesome.
Actor.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for being here, for real.
I appreciate it.
And
good luck to you and in your podcasting and continued success, guys.
Yeah,
thanks so much, man.
Hey, if you ever want to come on again and just talk about drinking, we'll do that too.
That'd be great. Let's do it.
Anytime.
I think I said everything. I think that was pretty much
That's it.
Well, anytime, man. Anytime you want to come on here and chat, we'd love to have you, buddy. Thanks for taking the time tonight.
Thanks, Nathan.
Right on. Take it easy, guys. Thanks.